First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
And none of y'all meat meals, y'all puppies, y'all little boozies, none of these names.
When is the new album coming? New album coming up?
Seriously, bro? Yo, stop talking to me.
Okay. All right.
See him too.
How many no's?
Way more no's than yes.
But do the no's get to you? Like, do you have to verbally say no?
I'm Kim Kardashian West. I'm a mother, millionaire, law student, and billionaire.
I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that.
Because all of them. This whole movie, honestly, the work that I did on screen was easier than the work that I did off screen.
Blake Lively, Joaquin Phoenix, J-Lo, and so many more folks have been canceled this year. So Justin Baldoni did try to put chatter of a feud with Blake Lively to bed after the rumor mill went into overdrive about the potential tension between the pair earlier this year. The rumors began following the New York City premiere of their film, It Ends With Us, when fans noticed that the two weren't posing together on the red carpet. Well, Blakely was photographed with her husband Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and nobody knows why he was on the red carpet, and her co-stars Jenny Slate and Brandon Sklenar. Justin was seen appearing on the red carpet solo, maybe on occasion with his wife. Now, fans of Blake Lively noticed she wasn't following him on Instagram. Actually, none of the cast members were. Now, obviously an Instagram follow isn't exactly concrete evidence, but it does raise eyebrows when you're trying to promote a film. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Justin said that Blake should direct a sequel to the film, saying, and I quote, "I think Blake Lively's right to direct. That's what I think." There was another interview where he talked about working with complex personalities on set, saying every movie is a miracle, and then of course you're navigating complex personalities and trying to get everybody on the same page with the same vision, and mistakes are always made, and then you figure out how to move past them. Blake Lively dodged a question about building trust with Baldoni as a scene partner. She said, this movie was such a challenge because you have scenes that are deeply painful and traumatic and physical, but you also have scenes that are full of levity and light and romance. And normally when I see this type of character on screen, you know what's gonna happen, and you're like, oh, that guy's full of red flags. Now, Blake was a co-executive producer on the movie, and she revealed that Ryan Reynolds wrote a pivotal scene of the film, which ruh-roh. She said, oh yeah, the iconic rooftop scene, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows, but now you do. She's like, oh yeah, he works in everything I do, I work in everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine and mine are his. Well, sure. Yeah. All of this painted Blake Lively in a negative light as she promoted the movie also as a romantic comedy and not what it really was. In an interview, she was asked what she would say if anyone out in the public were to talk to her about the issues the movie shows, and she's like, oh, it'd be like asking for my address, my phone number, or my location share. You're talking about a film with heavy subject matter, and why are you not discussing the heavy subject matter? A lot of folks said that she was out of touch, and it created a lot of negative discussion, saying that Blake Lively ignored the domestic harm issue that the movie features, focused on her own personal gains. She was also promoting her hair care line at the same time as the premiere, which received some negative criticism, and rightfully so. No matter how much Jennifer Lopez tries to stay out of drama, the fashionista seems to be constantly taking the blame for other people's struggles. Most recently, the passing of a TikToker, Kyle Marissa Roth, is being pinned on J-Lo. And the story is interesting, albeit sad. So the content creator sadly lost her life on April 15th after a battle with colon cancer. And a lot of folks on social media were quick to point fingers at J-Lo. So on her TikTok page, Roth shared celebrity gossip content, sometimes posting about Jenny from the block. And according to past videos, J-Lo's negative reaction to this had a direct impact on her income, particularly after Roth's account was banned after she used footage from the multi-talents film about growing up in the Bronx, the greatest love story never told. The late entertainer said that Lopez's narcissism single-handedly crushed her small business, leaving her unable to download or save content that had gotten her billions of views, saying J-Lo has cost me more than 4 figures of income just from March 2024, Roth alleged after making a new account. Losing out on money is hard for anyone, but she mentioned that she passed away of colon cancer, it's on her. She said that a week before she passed away. Little ominous. Dave Grohl has experienced his fair share of relationship drama while in the public eye, including multiple cheating scandals. So, snowboarder Tina Bassick dated Grohl for 2 years in the 90s. Following their split, she alleged that he was seeing another woman during their relationship, and she recalled him being busy while they dated. She wrote about this in her 2003 memoir, Pretty Good for a Girl, the autobiography of a snowboarding pioneer. She cited his career as a point of contention between them. Despite trying to get details from Dave Grohl, the athlete wrote that he told her nothing and broke things off. She's like, all I got was a 5-minute phone call from him after 5 weeks of me calling and trying to get a hold of him because I just had to know if these rumors were true and I had to hear it straight from the source. So the Foo Fighters rocker has been married twice, and he has stepped outside of his marriage both times. He and first wife Jennifer Lee Youngblood married in 1994, and he said, when I met my wife, we went out on a few dates, I decided I wasn't ready for a serious relationship, so I just stopped calling. After 3 months, I had a revelation and called her back. She picked up the phone and said, oh, I thought I'd never hear from you again. The pair finalized their divorce in 1997 after he admitted to infidelity. He moved on and tied the knot with current wife Jordan Bloom in 2003. They share 3 daughters, Violet, Harper, and Ophelia. But in September of 2024, the singer admitted to cheating once again, revealing that he had fathered a daughter outside of his marriage in an Instagram statement. I think most folks have moved on a little too quickly from all the awful stuff Joaquin Phoenix has done in recent history. Most notably when he dropped out of a gay romance film just 5 days before filming was set to start in Mexico after just getting cold feet over the project. So he was set to play an on-screen lover opposing Danny Ramirez in this 1930s. Joaquin Phoenix developed the screenplay for the detective love story with Haynes and John Raymond, with a source saying the actor had trepidation over the project amid rumors he was uncomfortable with the film's graphic scenes, although other sources counteract that he's the one who brought the project to the director initially. Haynes told Variety in September 2023 that Joaquin began creating the film with fragments of ideas. Basically, it was just this wonderful, organic way to create the script, and Joaquin was the one pushing it further into more dangerous territory, specifically of that nature. The film was set to be rated NC-17 and feature a relationship that would challenge audiences. Entire sets had been built before he exited the film. So this film kind of hinged on his casting. It had already been pitched to international distributors. His role cannot be recast. The crew is out of work and stakeholders still need paying. That's not getting cold feet, my dude. That's putting an entire team of hardworking people out of work and also harming the chances of more risky projects in this vein getting the necessary support that they'll need in the future. Brooke Schofield has issued an apology after resurfaced tweets showed the influencer defending George Zimmerman over the passing of Trayvon Martin. The TikTok star, who co-hosts the popular Canceled podcast with Tana Mojo, shared a nearly 4-minute video on August 3rd where she addressed the very insensitive tweets that she posted between 2012 to 2015. In a clip, a tearful Brooke described her past opinions as disturbing, wrong, horrible, and disgusting. She attempted to explain her mindset at the time that she made the tweets, noting that she was living with her grandparents, and she said that, as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. She said that her grandfather was a right-wing conservative, and the only thing that she had ever been exposed to were conservative political commentators and news outlets. She said that she still should have known better. She mentioned that sometimes you have these people that you put on a pedestal, and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. She acknowledged that it wasn't until after college that she began to shift her way of thinking. She apologized for not addressing the tweets sooner. She explained that she thought it would cause more harm to bring them to light again. And she said, I'm very, very sorry to anybody who was hurt by the tweets because obviously they are very hurtful. It isn't the MTV VMAs without a little bit of drama, and the latest saga is a video circulating showing Jack Antonoff putting something in his ears during the big medley. And the latest saga is a video circulating showing Jack Antonoff putting something in his ears during the big medley Katy Perry performance as she celebrated her legacy and accepted a very, very important award. But did he actually put AirPods in during the performance? Or is this just Twitter wildin'? Well, let's look at the evidence. As the context suggests from Twitter, despite the backlash and how it initially looks, Jack is not actually putting AirPods in at the VMAs, but more likely using earplugs to protect his hearing. Now, while Katy Perry is having a suitably flop of a year, and rightfully so, I doubt Jack would be putting them in and listening to something else at the VMAs, because that would just be ridiculous. Although he has shaded Katy Perry before, when he praises Taylor Swift and her songwriting, Jack referred to the music of Perry and Gaga as throwaway, comparatively, which, like, ouch, Gaga doesn't deserve that. But despite the fact that there seems to be a lot of online fury about AirPods Gate, people have been quick to clock that Jack is trying to protect his hearing, considering it is literally his livelihood. He needs them in tip-top shape when producing to hear all the finer details. And you can kind of tell by the way he wiggles them into his ear that it's an earplug, it's not an AirPod. So all in all, a random Stan Twitter bit of drama where we need to really pay attention, folks. But the footage, I guess, does look eyebrow raising if you didn't know that most folks these days do like their earplugs at a concert. I know a lot of friends that have the loops, they wear them all the time. Concerts, conventions, you name it. Orlando Bloom was spotted looking deeply confused while Katy Perry danced somewhat suggestively during her 10-minute long performance at the VMAs. The crowd of celebs cheered on Katy Perry during the medley of her mega hits last night. However, Orlando Bloom's reaction to his fiance's performance was a little more subdued, if you will. His reactions were at best confused and at worst extremely awkward. The climax of Katy's performance was when she and the rapper Doechii performed part of their new song, I'm His, He's Mine, which will be on her upcoming album. I think it's titled 143. Their performance was a little PG-13 to say the least. They twerked, acted as if they were about to kiss, and then flat out scissored. Nothing Miley Cyrus hasn't done before. So Orlando looked like he's cringing, and then as the camera zooms in on him, he starts smiling and clapping. Good save, pal. Later on, as the crowd was erupting when Katy was singing California Girls, and we get the camera cut to Orlando once again, he's not screaming, he's not crying, he's not throwing up. Instead, he's just like nodding along with a very perplexed expression on his face, like he's never heard the iconic bop before. So he did appear to be more of a fan of the national anthem, that is I Kissed a Girl, which, like, valid. He performed the pinnacle of dad dancing by shuffling from side to side, clapping, mouthing the words, as one does. Now, folks on Twitter were like deeply unimpressed by his lack of enthusiasm during his fiance's performance. One user wrote, Orlando Bloom is reacting to this performance as if he's never heard a single Katy Perry song before. What is going on? So I think it's safe to say that last night was a bad night to be Shawn Mendes. All three members of an insane love triangle were not only there, but all three members of this love triangle performed. As Sabrina Carpenter said herself, she knows she's been known to share, so sharing the stage with Shawn and Camila Cabello at the VMAs definitely meant a drama-filled evening was ahead. Here's a roundup of the most chaotic drama that ensued between the three of them. In a seemingly innocent Instagram caption, Shawn wrote, "Pulling up to my own funeral." Seems pretty suspicious given that we all knew he was heading to the VMAs, where both of his ex-girlfriends would be waiting for him. Telling Billboard before the show, I'm kind of having a funeral today just for everything that is negative, everything that doesn't serve me, death to the things that are negative, death to the people and the situations that try to bring you down. Looks like everybody knew they were into it. Also, I have genuinely no idea how this happened. Like maybe all three of their stylists got together and decided to watch the world burn. So Sabrina stunned in a gorgeous white gown gifted to her by Madonna, and Camila looked very similar to her music video counterpart, Jenna Ortega, switching back to her natural dark hair and wearing all black. The two eerily echoed the Taste video a little too much for comfort. Also, in the video, Sabrina and Jenna attend their ex-boyfriend's funeral. So like maybe all three agreed that it's time to put this drama to bed? Leaning into the homewrecker angle for the second time was probably one of the most super cool things Sabrina has ever done. She looked insanely good while humbling Shawn and Camila on stage. Whatever went down, nobody can tell me this wasn't an iconic moment. Camila knew she was gonna have to bring that heat after finding out both Shawn and Sabrina were performing, and she brought a whole fire. She opened her performance with her song June Gloom, rumored to be about her and Shawn's reconciliation, but then quickly switched up the tempo with Godspeed, which is all about leaving the past behind. Love that for you, girly. This is probably the most chaotic moment from the whole VMAs, but in Camila's performance, she literally smashed up a laptop on stage. Now, people were quick to speculate why she would put such a random thing in her performance, but one theory really stuck out. So you might think nothing of this, but I personally remember a very famous laptop that was featured in the midst of all the love triangle drama. Need I say more? With the least amount of love out of the trio, no surprise, Shawn performed a new song from his upcoming self-titled album, and it sounded like the song was about Camila, with the lyrics reading, "When you're so in love and your souls touch, but it's still not enough, where does it go?" Okay, they were lyrics, I wasn't really wowed, but it sounds like his new music's gonna be a tell-all into this whole love triangle drama from his perspective. One we haven't heard yet. Am I excited? Not really. Ariana Grande has a lot on her plate at the moment. After releasing her smash 7th studio album, Eternal Sunshine, this past spring, the pop superstar has been entirely in Wicked mode, doing serious promo for the highly anticipated film adaptation of the Broadway musical, and wearing a lot of gorgeous Galinda-coded looks in the process. And with all this going on, it looks like she decided to skip out on the awards. And this was a shock to fans, seeing as she was one of the most nominated artists of the night. She had 7 noms! And despite tying with Megan Thee Stallion and Sabrina Carpenter as the 4th most nominated artist of the night, she was nowhere to be seen once Showtime rolled around. She seemed to actually hint at her absence a couple of hours before the show began, when she shared a clip from her We Can't Be Friends video to her Instagram story, writing, "I just want to say thank you and I love you so much to my Angel fans who've been writing so hard for We Can't Be Friends. You're my heart, this will always be my favorite video and the one I am proudest of, no matter what. I am so proud of us and grateful for you, Chris the director, and for our teams who brought this vision and story to life with us. Now, the rumor mill claims Ariana skipped out because she knew she wasn't going to win any of the awards she was nominated for. And once again, I question how rigged is this award show? Seriously. Chappell Roan went viral within minutes of arriving at the VMAs last night, after footage came out of her shouting back at a photographer and telling him to shut the F up. Now this video is the most talked about moment of the night, with everyone wondering what caused Chappell to shout back at the VMAs photographer. And thankfully, she was actually given an explanation, because it wasn't really clear what went down at first. So the original video shows Chappell Roan posing on the VMAs red carpet before whipping around and arguing with the photographer, shouting, "You shut the F up." Then she says, "No, not me, bish." But what actually went down? Well, she explained further in an interview what led to the disagreement. So she was talking to ET and she's like, "I was really scared going for the photographers." She said, "This is quite overwhelming and quite scary. I think for someone who gets a lot of anxiety around people yelling at you, the carpet is horrifying." I yelled back. You don't get to yell at me like that. So she's referring to the process, right? When you get to the red carpet, you have to stand in front of all the press cameras and they should all shout your name for photos. And yeah, she rightfully so. By the way, Chappell performed her smash hit Good Luck Babe last night, and she gave this insane performance inspired by Joan of Arc, as well as taking home the coveted Moon Man for Best New Artist. So considering nobody can stop speaking about her, and her music is next level, look, I think this is all deserved.
Turns out there was a reason Harry Styles didn't accompany girlfriend Taylor Russell to the Met Gala, and it wasn't due to lack of ticket. The two stars were first linked in June of 2023. Things quickly progressed from there. Russell was spotted at his concerts in the VIP sections, they had dates on the town, they attended galas together, and just recently a source close to the couple said they were traveling together. The couple was also reported to have been in agreement to keep the relationship more private, so what went wrong? Turns out the couple's recent trip to Japan might have something to do with it. Friends of the couple spoke to celebrity news publications, claiming that the couple came to the decision while on their vacation and that the breakup was amicable. Friends of the couple spoke to celebrity news publications, claiming that the couple came to a decision while on their vacation and that the breakup was mutual. A source told The Sun, "Harry and Taylor have ended their relationship. They went through a rough patch after their trip to Japan and are taking some time apart. While they may have stood on common ground when it came to a private relationship, some suggest they weren't seeing eye to eye when it came to more personal matters." A source claimed that Styles was in love with Russell and was looking to start a family with her. Now that the couple is rumored to have split, though, that is unlikely to happen. Russell has been in the industry for years, but these past couple years have been huge for her career. Hit movies and attending the Met Gala, the actress is not slowing down. You can't really blame her if she has her eyes on her career instead of starting a family. The same source suggested that Harry might be more ready to settle down, saying, "He has experienced all the fame anyone could ever want. He is now ready for the next chapter." It's a shame the couple has allegedly split. They were cute together. The first breakup confirmation of the year dropped on January 1st. AJ and Rochelle McLean confirmed that they ended their marriage, though they had already been separated for a year before that. The couple remains adamant that the split was a mutual decision and made out of love and respect. They made the confirmation and statements on social media. The couple were together over 12 years and share 2 children together. It's never a good sign when one half of a couple says they are free after a relationship ends, but model Clara Berry and Riverdale star KJ Apa might be an interesting case. The pair started hinting that they were an item at the end of 2019 with a confirmation Valentine's post in 2020. 2021 marked the birth of the couple's son, and that seemed like a happy day for the couple. Berry writing on Instagram, "I am the luckiest to have now 2 men of my life filling my heart with this cosmic, gigantic, vast love." Then there were marriage rumors in 2022, which KJ may or may not have confirmed when he said, "I mean, maybe I am married. That's no one's business but mine, baby." By the end of 2023, fans started to think that there might be trouble in paradise. The once loved up couple stopped posting pictures of each other. March of this year finally gave fans the answers they were looking for. Berry held a Q&A on social media, and of course, many of the questions were about her romantic life. This is when the model remarked that she was free and confirmed the couple were no longer together and that she was happier now. She did clarify that the situation was hard, especially when it came to co-parenting, as she couldn't be with her family all the time now, but made sure to clarify that things were going well. America's favorite podcaster, Bobby, and her husband Corey filed for divorce back in February of this year, citing irreconcilable differences. But a rumor involving popular rapper Drake adds an unexpected layer to the story. Bobby is known known for her celebrity interviews because she puts the celebs in slightly awkward situations. It makes for funny conversation and more honest answers, at least that's what her fans think. One particular interview with Drake went viral, and it wasn't just because of his superstar status. The interview was conducted while laying in a bed. Fans that watched started picking apart the interview, saying that Bobby and Drake seemed a bit flirty with each other. Eventually, these comments spiraled into rumors that the pair had done more than just an interview in a bed. The rumors were publicly denied by Bobby, and it's unclear if they actually had anything to do with her divorce. What made the entire Drake situation even more suspicious, though, was that the interview was later deleted. Aspen, Ovard, and Parker Ferris are one of YouTube's royal couples, so it came as a bit of a shock to fans of the couple when their divorce was announced in April. Here's the thing, though. The divorce was discovered on April 1st, also known as April Fool's Day, so I'm sure people didn't even believe it at first. Not only was it not an April Fool's joke, though, the divorce was filed the same day Aspen announced the birth of the couple's third child. At the time, the couple hadn't addressed the divorce publicly, but allegedly Parker was still wearing his ring, which confused fans even more. Not everyone was shocked by the announcement, though. Some fans actually expected it. Speculation had been swirling online for a while before the announcement, and for good reason. The family's YouTube channel name went from the joint title to the one that was just for Aspen, and Parker started showing up in vlogs less and less. Then the situation got more confusing when divorce proceedings paused on April 17th. The reason cited was so that the couple could focus on negotiating a settlement. In total, the couple have 3 children together and were married over 8 years. Sam Fahey and Corey Kiefer are names you might recognize from the reality TV show Summer House. They were together over a year, and the breakup came as a huge shock to one of them. Sam was on an episode of the podcast Not Skinny But Not Fat, where she shared the reason she broke up with Corey. She claimed that she did it because she knew he didn't love her back. She shared that she had told him she loved him and he never said it back for the entire duration of the relationship. She went on to say, "I didn't break up with him because I don't love him. I broke up with him because he doesn't love me." That's tough to just hear from her. I can't imagine what living it was like. She shared how the pair were comfortable with each other's families and lived together when they were in the same city. She also shared the moment she realized she was done with it all. Sam said, "The trigger was he texted me like 5 or 6 days before Christmas like, 'Hey, I just realized Christmas and New Year's are coming up. What are we doing?' I was like, if you really wanted to spend that time with me, you would have texted me before then, or we would have figured it out sooner." TV personality Janelle Evans has filed for divorce from husband David Eason, and it's reported that she filed with the intent of the divorce being permanent. And it's not hard to see why when you take a look at the couple's history. The Teen Mom star and her former husband were together over 8 years and have a daughter together. Evans and Eason had already split in 2019 after a particularly nasty incident, but decided to give their marriage another shot in 2020. In a 2021 interview with Us Weekly, Evans offered some insight into why she returned to the marriage, saying, "I left him and I was like, this isn't going to be good when I go back to him. I know some people don't understand, but there's a lot of worse things that have happened in my life than getting back with my husband and trying to work it out." But what was so bad that she had to leave in the first place? Well, Evans had a little French bulldog named Nugget. Nugget, according to Eason, bit their little girl, so Eason took care of Nugget, and Nugget is now forever resting. Evans was understandably not happy about this, as she loved her dog. Evans and the kids were reported to have left the family's home for a few days, but ultimately returned. This dog incident continued to cause problems for the couple. They lost custody of their child and Evans' 2 other children from previous relationships for a few months. The couple was back together for the majority of quarantine, but the end of 2022 revealed that they were back on the rocks. Evans posted an angry message to her Instagram story regarding her birthday celebration that year. Over a picture of Evans' hand with no wedding ring was the text, "Tell me where David Eason is, cause it's my birthday at midnight and he's gone. I don't want to explain, but just know that my birthday was ruined by a narcissistic." The divorce papers were filed with the intent that the separation be permanent. Sacha Baron Cohen and Isla Fisher announced their divorce after 14 years of marriage and over 20 years together. In Hollywood, a marriage that lasts that long is rare, so it was a sad day when the divorce was announced this year. Although, the announcement was made in a way that left people wondering if they should laugh or cry. I know that doesn't sound great, but truly I have never seen a celebrity couple announce a divorce this way. It started normal enough. They put the announcement on their Instagram stories, but it was tennis themed. It featured a picture of the couple in matching white tennis outfits striking a pose. The text on the side, the default Instagram story font, read out their divorce statement. I can't decide if I love or hate this divorce statement, but one thing is for sure, it is looking camp right in the eye. And right around all the release of this big tennis movie Challengers, it's impeccable timing overall. I know tennis is used as a metaphor for marriage all the time, and tennis must mean something to them, but the timing is just too good. The couple is known for their comedy and Baron Cohen for his shock value, so it's fitting for the couple to make an announcement like this. The announcement read, "After a long tennis match lasting over 20 years, we are finally putting our rackets down." It went on to say the couple decided to divorce last year in 2023 and that they wanted to work through the situation privately, also writing that they will forever share in our devotion and love for our children before finishing off the story with a request for privacy. Big Brother stars Memphis Garrett and Christmas Abbott have called it quits, but fans don't seem surprised at all. In fact, many say they expected it due to Garrett's behavior in the marriage. The couple met while on Big Brother together, and it seems like a beautiful romance at first. During the couple's marriage, rumors of infidelity have come up for both parties. TMZ reports that the couple's split has a lot to do with infidelity and lying, but Garrett's actions in the relationship have also likely played a big role in the split. The couple officially split a week before the divorce was filed because Christmas filed for a temporary DV restraining order against Garrett. A judge did grant her the court-ordered protection. There have also been rumors that Christmas had been wanting and even requesting a divorce for a while. Christmas has requested privacy during this time. Do y'all remember Armie Hammer and all the rumors and charges against him regarding a certain forbidden type of meal and SA charges? Well, he got another girlfriend and they broke up maybe less than a year after they started dating. The timeline, it's just super messy and hard to follow as Hammer was divorcing his ex-wife last summer and then he and Marina were allegedly together almost immediately after. So Marina Gree and Armie Hammer seemed to get engaged in October, so if they got together in the summer, that's like maybe 3 months of dating. The engagement lasted until January of this year. For anyone wondering, Marina did know about the allegations surrounding Armie Hammer. She claimed that her time with him though was positive. She shared this and more in a post to her Instagram story regarding the breakup, writing, "Our relationship was a space where I felt deeply appreciated, supported, loved, and understood. I know him as a gentleman in every sense of the word. Our decision to get married and plans for a future together were rooted in strength, encouragement, and deep mutual care."
On February 26, 2024, music producer Rodney Jones filed a lawsuit against Diddy, and on March 25th, Homeland Security investigations served search warrants in the early morning raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Diddy was then arrested this week after being accused of criminal activity from at least 2008. Now, he has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His lawyers proposed a bail package that included a $50 million bond, co-signed by Diddy, his mother, and other family members, as well as home detention, surrender of his passport, and a visitor log that would be submitted to pretrial services each night. But the judge denied this, which honestly was the right choice. It seems like a lot of different people were involved in this case. On the other hand, Diddy's lawyer has said that he's not afraid of the charges, and he also added that he thought Diddy was a target of an unjust prosecution, and the case of Diddy is still ongoing, and it will be very interesting to see what comes out of it. Then it was revealed this year that Hollywood couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds aren't as nice as they appear to be. Blake's movie It Ends With Us was released and it came with a lot of drama. Now, Blake produced and starred in the film while it was directed and co-starred by Justin Baldoni. Things started going downhill during the press release of the film as people noticed that the cast seemed really disconnected from each other. Then Blake was called out for promoting the film in a lighthearted way when it covers serious topics. Now, she also used the film to promote some of her brands, which just weren't appropriate. It was then revealed that her husband Ryan helped out on the film and even rewrote one of the scenes. Not to mention, Blake also made her own edit of the film. Then, a couple weeks ago, it was revealed that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's entire relationship is fake and that they were planning to break up at the end of September. Paperwork was leaked that was created by Los Angeles-based firm Full Scope, which revealed a strategy on what to do when the pair broke broke up and said the date for an announcement was September 28th. Now, it also outlined a supposed plan to release an official statement at the end of this month, 3 days post-breakup, to allow the initial media frenzy to settle and ensure clarity. It added that the announcement would be gracious, respectful, and stress mutual respect. But a spokesman for Full Scope insisted that they were entirely false and fabricated and were not created, issued, or authorized by this agency. Now, last year, actor Matthew Perry was found dead in a hot tub at his Los Angeles home, and now new details have been released surrounding his death. He had been treating depression with prescribed medication and no foul play was expected, but now 5 people have been arrested in the case of his death. Now, Matthew's live-in assistant, Kenneth Amasa, was the person who found the actor dead. Investigators say that he was also the one who injected Matthew with the medication that led to his death. Now, Kenneth never received medical training and knew little, if anything, about the medications. Authorities say Matthew purchased 20 vials of medication for a total of $55,000 between September and October 2023. His death could have been prevented, and overall, it's just such a sad story and outcome, but at least those responsible will be facing justice. Now, Alec Baldwin was indicted by a New Mexico grand jury and recharged in connection with the fatal 2021 Rust incident. Now, the first criminal charges brought against Alec were dropped in April 2023, but according to New Mexico law, he could have faced up to 18 months in prison with the new charges. In January, a source close to the family spoke to People about how Alec and his wife were handling the indictment. The insider shared that the pair found the news frustrating and very stressful. They knew there was a possibility there would be a new indictment, the source told People. The back and forth is hard. Then there was an announcement that the pair were getting their own reality show to show their everyday lives with their children. Now, this announcement shocked a lot of people, thinking that they agreed to the show to fix his image and bankroll his legal fees. In the end, though, the case was dropped once again, and Alec hasn't faced any more consequences. Then, this week, it was revealed that Miley Cyrus is getting sued over a song she allegedly copied from Bruno Mars. Tempo Music Investments, a company claiming it owns share of the copyright for Bruno's song When I Was Your Man, is claiming that Miley's song Flowers is a copy. In the lawsuit, it said it is undeniable based on the combination and number of similarities between the two recordings that Flowers would not exist without When I Was Your Man. Accordingly, plaintiff brings this action for copyright infringement arising out of defendants' unauthorized reproduction, distribution, and exploitation of When I Was Your Man, the complaint adds. Now, the company wants Miley and other defendants to stop reproducing, distributing, or publicly performing Flowers. The company is also seeking damages, but they have not released an amount yet. Now, Demi Lovato recently released a documentary recalling everything they went through while being a child star. I wouldn't end up where I am had I not made all the choices leading up to this point, but it came at a price, Demi explained during the doc. There's definitely not a manual on how to navigate this industry at such a young age. Now, the documentary featured other young stars like Drew Barrymore. Now, in the doc, the actors talk about bullying, how they were mistreated, and how they self-medicated to get through the pain they went through. Now, these stars hid a lot of things that were going on in their lives. It was a real eye-opener for a lot of people, and with these stars being honest, Demi is hoping that stricter laws can be made and followed when it comes to young people in the entertainment industry. Now, one of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's daughters filed paperwork to legally remove Pitt from her name the day she turned 18. Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie Pitt submitted a petition in Los Angeles County Superior Court on May 27th to change her name to Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie, the Los Angeles Times reported. She was granted this change, but she's not the only family member who did this, as in the playbill for the new musical The Outsiders, which their daughter Vivian helped Angelina produce, the teenager is listed as Vivian Jolie instead of Vivian Jolie Pitt. Then there was a time their son Pax made a Father's Day post to Brad, and it was leaked years later. The post said, "Happy Father's Day to this world-class a-hole. You time and time again prove yourself to be a terrible, despicable person. You've made the lives of those closest to me a constant hell. You may tell yourself and the world whatever you want, but the truth will come to light someday, so happy Father's Day, you effing awful human being." Recently, it's been said that Meghan Markle has reportedly been labeled Duchess difficult by US staffers. Josh Kettler, who was the top aide for the Duke and Duchess, quit his job in August after only 3 months, joining the increasing number of people who are leaving them. An insider aware of the situation told The Hollywood Reporter, "Everyone's terrified of Meghan, she belittles people, ignores advice, and both she and Harry frequently change their minds, leading to poor decision making." But the email in question, where she was demanding and rude, was honestly super normal. She woke up early and emailed one of her staffers, hoping to have a meeting with them. She was nice, and the whole situation was blown out of proportion. Now it appears that there's a bunch of people out there who are trying to make her look bad for no reason. And finally, back in June, Justin Timberlake got arrested for driving under the influence. Sources connected to law enforcement said Justin was at the American Hotel partying, and almost immediately after he left and began driving, he blew a stop sign. Cops saw that and began to follow him, and it's then been said Justin began swerving, so the cops pulled him over. TMZ sources said cops performed a field sobriety test and asked Justin to take a breathalyzer test, but he refused. In the end, Justin was handcuffed and arrested, and the whole incident was recorded on a police officer's body cam. He was then charged with 1 count of DWI and cited for running a stop sign and failure to keep in his lane. Now last week he pleaded guilty to a reduced charge in his drunk driving case and was ordered to pay a $500 fine and perform community service. He has to do 25 to 40 hours of community service at a nonprofit, and he was ordered to make a public safety announcement. Yeah, that isn't a good look, and now people are accusing him of getting off easy because he's a celebrity.
Even though Cher and Sonny's marriage lasted less than a decade, their musical hits have stood the test of time. But here's the thing, Cher's got a new memoir, and she's talked about the success of her creative partnership with her late husband wasn't actually equally shared between the two. She said, "It wasn't passionate, I just loved him. He made me laugh and we had a dream." Now that dream led Sonny and Cher to multiple hit songs in the 1960s, including the infamous I Got You Babe, and later the popular Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, which featured the couple's banter, live performances, and a glamorous Cher. Now, Cher said, when they started to realize that people were tuning in because of what she was wearing, everybody just gave them all the money they needed. Now, apparently it was around this time that Bono began to change. She said he started just not to care about her. He was jealous, and things ramped up after a guitarist she identified as Bill kissed her and Bono found out. She wrote in her book that she told Sonny that she wanted to sleep with the guitarist. She said, "It all seems crazy now, I didn't mean it, but I thought saying those words was the only way that he would let me go." She said, "I thought if I do this, it's over. He's not going to be able to come back. We're not going to be able to be Sonny and Cher. I just want to blow it up." But I didn't know I wanted to blow it up until I was blowing it up. Cher said she was offered whatever she'd wanted to stay with Sonny and opted for her own place in Malibu and $5,000 a month. Well, 2 years later, she said she had a shocking discovery when her then boyfriend, music executive David Geffen, got a hold of her contract. Sonny owned 95% of the company and his lawyer owned the other 5%. And it was called Cher Enterprises, but Cher owned nothing. And by that point, Sonny and Cher had worked together for almost 12 years. So obviously she confronted Sonny and she was like, "What's going on?" And he said, "I always knew you'd leave me." And Cher was like, "Well, that's not a reason. How could you do it? I was there by your side working all those nights, all those days, through good, through bad." And Sonny just didn't have an answer. So the award for the celebrity who most horrendously misjudged how the public would react to his divorce last year goes to, drumroll please, Joe Jonas. Before he even filed the paperwork, he seemingly went straight to the tabloids, leaking through sources that he was planning to divorce his wife of 4 years, Sophie Turner, that he believed she had all but abandoned the couple's 2 daughters to film this TV show in the UK, and that she had said or done something unforgivable on the couple's Ring camera. Now, for the record, Joe technically denies leaking anything to the tabloids, and it's still not clear what exactly he saw on the Ring camera or why he was using it to spy on his wife in the first place. Well, after this tabloid mess went over poorly with fans, and I'm talking like a lead balloon, he took to crying on stage during tour stops around the US. On the flip side, Sophie filed her own lawsuit accusing Joe of holding her daughters hostage and refusing to send them back to England with her. The petition, by the way, that she filed was literally filed under the abduction clauses of the Hague Convention. So then she she made a point of getting paparazzi snapped in New York with Joe's most famous ex-girlfriend, Taylor Swift. Now, thankfully, things have calmed down since then. Both parties agreed to a custody arrangement that allowed for the daughters to travel back and forth between the US and the UK, but for a hot minute, things were looking real messy. The Bear star Jeremy Allen White's split from his longtime partner Addison Timlin did not begin with a cheery joint statement assuring the public they were committed to co-parenting their two daughters. Instead, Addison filed for divorce in May and promptly posted about being a single mother on Instagram. Now, she later edited her caption to read co-parent, but we all got the message loud and clear. Now, since then, Jeremy Allen White made a big point of making out with a string of models directly in front of paparazzi. Just before the actor debuted a fling with Spanish pop star Rosalia, news outlets published details from court documents showing that he agreed to be tested for substances 5 times a week and attended AA meetings just so he could maintain shared custody of his daughters. So Gypsy Rose and Ryan Scott Anderson separated just 3 months after her release from prison. Gypsy confirmed that news in a statement, saying, "People have been asking what's going on in my life. Unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation and I moved in with my parents. I have the support of my family and friends to help guide me through this. I am learning to listen to my heart. Right now I need time to let myself find who I am." Well, here's the thing. After this whole split was announced, Gypsy Rose and former partner Ken Urker sparked reconciliation rumors. Technically, those rumors were sparking before the breakup, because at one point, his mother, Marina Williams, confirmed that the two got lunch and went to a tattoo parlor together and got matching tattoos. And then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we're back together. And then they're expecting their first offspring together. So while serving time in prison for her role in the end of life of her mother, Dee Dee, Gypsy was in a relationship with Urker. He started off as a pen pal. And although he's largely stayed out of the spotlight, Gypsy's revealed a couple of details about him and their relationship over the years. In her Lifetime docuseries, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, she got very candid about the relationship, saying he was one of her first major heartbreaks, and now TBD, I guess. According to news outlets, Natalie Portman quietly filed for divorce from Benjamin Millepied last July, but their split was only finalized back in February of this year. And this was all confirmed, both parties, both reps, everybody who had something to say. According to a source, it was initially really tough for Natalie, but her friends rallied around her, helped her get through the worst of it. She was coming out of a really tough and painful year, but she's come out of the other side of it stronger, finding joy in her family, friends, and work. So the divorce came after news outlets broke the news that the choreographer had allegedly cheated on Natalie with a young climate activist named Camille. And by young, I mean like half his age. So when you consider the fact that technically the whole Natalie and Benjamin relationship started possibly under cheating circumstances on the Black Swan set. Look folks, once a cheater, always a cheater. According to unconfirmed reports, Benjamin was living with his former partner, ballet dancer Isabella Boylston, in 2009 and left her for Natalie Portman. In a 2018 interview, Natalie Portman said she was in dreamland while filming the physically demanding drama because she was getting to know Benjamin at the same time. She called the early stages of the relationship romantic because they were catching feelings for each other while he was teaching her how to dance. Okay, theater kids, we all know this. Showmance turned romance turned uh-oh. Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott's turbulent relationship was filled with scandal from the get-go. So they were married to other people when they met on the set of their Lifetime movie, Mind Over Matter, in July of 2005, if I remember correctly. Now, Tori Spelling and actor Charlie Sheenan had tied the knot a year earlier, while Dean McDermott had been married for 12 years to actress Mary Jo Eustace. So the Beverly Hills 90210 star revealed in her 2009 memoir, Storytelling, that she and Dean felt an instant connection, and they spent the night together at a hotel after they first met. She said, "It was love at first sight. I fell so hard, then I noticed he had a wedding ring. And oh yeah, I had a husband too." So the two announced their engagement in December of 2005, tied the knot in Fiji in May of 2006, less than a month after their divorces from their ex-spouses were finalized. Then they sparked rumors of a split in 2010 after they were seen fighting in scenes from their show. Now, Tori Spelling later squashed the divorce speculation during an appearance on the Today Show, saying, "We're committed to each other, we're committed to this family. But you know, we work on things just like everybody else." Fast forward March of 2013, she once again slammed reports that the two were heading for a divorce. Well, McDermott was accused of cheating on her in December of that year. Emily Goodhand, then 28, told news outlets that the two had a brief affair while he was promoting his show Chopped Canada in Toronto. The following month, he did admit that he had cheated on his wife and entered rehab, saying, "I am truly sorry for the mistakes I have made and for the pain I've caused my family. I take full responsibility for my actions and have voluntarily checked myself into a treatment center to address some health and personal issues. I am grateful to be getting the help I need so I can become the husband and father my family deserves." So the couple's marital woes in the aftermath of this cheating scandal were documented in a reality TV series, True Tori. story. 2016, McDermott proposed to Spelling again while they were vacationing with her family in Europe. 2018, we got some trouble in paradise. The LA Police Department confirmed that officers had responded to a 911 call at the couple's home. It was a domestic incident, but no crime had been committed. No other details. Well, 2023, the two have separated. It was announced in an Instagram post saying, "It's with great sadness and a very, very heavy heart that after 18 years together that we have decided to go our separate ways and start a new journey of our own." So all of that was finalized earlier this year.
Starting off with a man living up to his name, Jonathan Majors has turned out to be a major disappointment. His Hollywood career was very promising, including multiple blockbusters and hit TV shows, most notably Creed 3 and Marvel's Loki. His role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was Kang the Conqueror, the next major Marvel supervillain. He was featured in both seasons of Loki and Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, which is set for release in 2026. However, March of 2023 has shifted those plans. Jonathan Majors' girlfriend at the time found text on his phone suggesting infidelity, which led to a heated argument between the two. The disagreement turned violent and Majors was arrested and later convicted with 2 offenses, both assault. His sentencing has been postponed until April of this year, but was supposed to be for this month. Since his arrest, he has been removed from multiple projects, including the MCU. It's unclear to the public what Marvel plans to do with the character of Kang. They may choose to recast the role or possibly alter their timeline and erase Kang altogether. But one thing's for sure, we probably won't be seeing him anywhere for a while. Next up is another hit TV show star, Percy Hines White. If this name is not familiar, that might be because Percy's career was basically over before it even started. White was set to become a teenage heartthrob after starring in the Netflix hit Wednesday. The show released in November of 2022, but it was only a short 2 months later, in January of 2023, that Percy was cancelled after being accused of assaulting multiple girls. A user on the social media site X alleged that White, at age 17 to 20, would purposefully intimidate girls aged 13 to 16 before pressuring them into getting with him. Shortly after this user came forward, many other girls shared similar stories. It later surfaced that White was allegedly also insulting his female fan base through an X account, and video evidence of White using sensitive words was the last nail in his coffin. Percy was set to star in a film with Wednesday co-star Jenna Ortega, but it's currently unclear when or if the film will ever make it to the silver screen. Similar to Jonathan Majors, it's currently not known if White's character in Wednesday will be recast or written off. With a hopeful season 2 release date of late 2024 or early 2025, fans of the mysterious and macabre should be expecting confirmation soon. Ever since the infamous Oscars slap, Will Smith's career has taken an intense nosedive. Once a coveted actor starring in hits like Men in Black, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and The Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith now seems to only show up in headlines. With the new projects attached to his name, it seems like Smith is taking a backseat for some, working in more behind-the-scenes roles like a producer, while the films in which he is a lead actor for aren't receiving the praise they once did. Box office lows are not the only repercussions from the 2022 Oscars. Will Smith received a 10-year ban from attending the event. The whole reason everything happened was because Chris Rock made a joke at the Oscars about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head. Jada has a hair loss disease called alopecia, so it was an unwelcome joke, which is why Will walked up there and started yelling after. However, at the end of last year, Jada is promoting her memoir Worthy. She reveals that at the time of the slap, her and Will had been separated for 6 years, and that definitely makes the whole situation a tiny bit worse. Even though it's been about 2 years since the slap heard around the world, Will Smith is still not in the public's favor and therefore not at the top of any casting list. Ariana Grande is a tricky case. Right now, she is in a lot of hot water due to her relationship with Ethan Slater. The pair met on the set of the Wicked movie, her as Glinda and him as Bach. At the time of filming, both were married and he had a young child. Both parties insist that they didn't get together until after leaving their partners. However, the messy timeline of it all makes it seem suspicious. Filming officially wrapped this January and started way back in December of 2022. Grande had apparently split from her husband in January 2023, and she and Ethan were reported to already be together in March. However, in May, Ethan posted a tribute to his wife on his Instagram account. By July, Ethan and his wife have allegedly split and Ariana is now fully in the picture. After July, the pair are seen out together in Disney World, at Slater's Broadway shows, and out to dinner in New York. People have been trolling this couple for months, and with Wicked releasing later this year and a press tour on the horizon, that likely has no end in sight. Ariana recently released a song called Yes And that is doing pretty well, but lots of people find some of her lyrics to be in poor taste as they are referencing her relationship with Ethan. So even though she has a highly anticipated movie and album releasing later this year, the messy details of her personal life are slowly dimming the spotlight surrounding the star. Doja Cat was on top of the world for a while there, but now seems to have fallen off, and it's not the first time. Back in 2018, she was exposed for some homophobic tweets she'd made in 2015, and if you're sitting there thinking that was so long ago, don't worry, her apology was worse than the tweet was. The original tweet was a slur, and then she defended herself by saying she uses the slur all the time, and just because she uses it doesn't mean she hates gay people. Okay. She re-apologized after that one. It's unclear if Doja Cat wants to be famous. On some of her Instagram lives and social media accounts, she has shown her upset at fans enjoying her music. Most people don't like being told that what they enjoy sucks, but most fans aren't usually told that by the person who made the thing. Doja fans didn't take it well, and the singer lost almost 500,000 followers. Doja Cat also poked fun at her devoted fan base by making fun of the name they chose for themselves, which is Kittens. Fans were quick to point out to her that you shouldn't bite the hand that feeds you. Matt Rife, if you haven't heard, is very much out. He was a super popular comedian that initially rose to fame on the popular social media app TikTok, and then received a Netflix special premiering in November of 2023. That's where the trouble started. His special, Natural Selection, opens with a joke about domestic No thanks. Yeah, that so-called joke didn't go over well with the internet, with many people asking why Matt felt the need to be punching down instead of up. His apology for the joke was shocking, to say the least. On his Instagram story, he posted the text, "If you've ever been offended by a joke I've told, here's a link to my official apology," beside a link that read, "Tap to solve the issue." The link was not to a genuine heartfelt apology, no, it was to a health website, specifically to a page where you can buy special needs helmets. Why? As this was unfolding, there were a bunch of people online weighing in on the issue. One was a little 6-year-old boy who just said that Matt was mean to girls, and Matt decided this little boy was who he wanted to go up against, and commented, "Santa Claus isn't real. Your mom buys you presents with the money she makes on OF. Good luck." The comment was deleted, but screenshots live forever. Somehow topping Matt Rife's disaster of an apology is Colleen Ballinger on the ukulele. That makes the list for top 10 sentences I never thought I'd say. Colleen was really popular YouTuber from about 2010 to last year, really. She had a Netflix special too, and her channel was mainly known for posting videos using the character Miranda Sings. The Sings persona is a satire of bad singers with big egos. The irony. The character was super popular and her career took off. She was most popular with preteens and teenagers. As early as 2020, allegations were coming out about Colleen creating inappropriate relationships with fans, but everything really came crashing down in 2023. More allegations were coming out, screenshots were being shared, and pretty soon Colleen's live shows and podcasts were being cancelled. This is very serious stuff, and Colleen decided best way to address it was on the ukulele. While singing, she reveals that she was advised by her team not to speak on the issue, but they didn't say she couldn't sing. The video wasn't received well. A few months later, she posted another apology for the song. This time, that one was just talking. She's still vlogging, just not to as big of an audience, and there are no live shows on the horizon for her. She may be difficult, but boy can she sing. Not talking about Colleen anymore, we are moving on to Lea Michele, the Fanny Bryce of Broadway, the Rachel Berry of Glee. She has got quite the reputation. She allegedly made life on the set of her shows difficult, allegedly bullying castmates and threatening to defile someone's wig. Fortunately for Lea, she has an incredible voice and a pretty iconic past role, so when it came time to stunt cast Funny Girl on Broadway, the top choice. She can sing the role super well, plus her character in Glee was zeroed in on playing Fanny Bryce, so why not bring that into real life? For full circle moments, sell tickets. It seems like the next steps for Lea Michele will be onto another Broadway stage instead of back to the silver screen, which makes sense. Many former cast members from Michelle's Glee days have come forward to express how inappropriately Lea behaved on set, so I don't find it hard to believe that she's not being seen on any more of them. Back in the spring last year, she teased that she knows what her next Broadway project will be, only there hasn't been any more info since May or June, so no one is currently sure what's happening there. The story that still shocks me to my core is that of Armie Hammer. He was really on track to making it big. He was in the smash hit film Call Me By Your Name and had the Hollywood star look. Why, oh why, did he have to, trigger warning, enjoy people on plates? Yeah, I don't don't think anyone wants to go within a 100-foot radius of this man, let alone working closely with him on a film set. Ever since the allegations surfaced in 2021, this man has rightfully not known peace or been seen on the screen. It wasn't just the enjoyable thing that he was accused of, but also just general abuse towards his partners, multiple partners. This all makes my skin crawl, I hate it so much. Probably the strangest bit of dark humor from 2022, a year after the allegations, was the film Bones and All. So Call Me By Your Name starred Armie Hammer, Chalamet, and was directed by Luca Guadagnino. Armie's condition is revealed in 2021, and then the next year, a film is released about his condition, directed by the man who made Armie's most notable film and starring his former co-star. I wish I could have seen his face when he found that out, but I think I'm done with this one. I seriously might throw up. Kanye West has been on the sidelines of Hollywood for a while now. There is no denying the man's talent and musical ability, but he is yet another example of an artist's personal life and choices hurting their career and making people touch them with a 10-foot pole. The downfall started a long time ago, but some highlights in Kanye stating that slavery was a choice, his anti-Semitic remarks, and recent album controversy. His anti-Semitism has led to him being banned from various social media sites and even streaming platforms. Kanye recently released his new album, and it was apparently pretty hard to get out there. Kanye allegedly went to multiple distributors and was repeatedly turned away. The new album, Vultures 1, features many just horrible lyrics, but a large reason as to why it was pulled is because of copyright infringement. Kanye requested permission from multiple artists to sample their tracks for his new album. Upon receiving many no's, he did it anyway. Most people said no because they do not want to be associated with all the negative things Kanye has said and done, so when the album dropped, they were quick to complain and get the songs removed. The album is back up currently, so we'll see how long it lasts.
Number 10. Percy Hines White. With the Netflix series Wednesday premiered last year, the world collectively agreed that it was fantastic. It was dark, fun, mysterious, and it was well written for the most part. The only side plot that really added nothing to the show was the love triangle between Wednesday, the coffee shop boy, and Percy Hines White. Percy is a young up-and-coming actor who's appeared in plenty of TV shows and films in his short career. Wednesday skyrocketed him to a new level of recognition, which might be the cause of the allegations that were thrown his way earlier this year. An unnamed woman claimed that he mistreated her when they were living in Toronto. In June, he posted on his Instagram telling people that he needed to clear something up. According to Percy, he doesn't actually know who this woman is, and because of her misinformation, his family and friends were doxxed and received threats to end their lives. He continued to say that in addition to people using underage photos and examples of him acting in character to present him as hateful, he concluded his post by saying that the misinformation was distressing, as well as thanked those who supported his efforts. After the hashtag #CancelPercy gained momentum on Twitter, the accusations began to grow. So much hate just from a rumor started on Twitter when there's no legal accusations, proof of anything, it's just fans gone wild. Number 9. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was set to host the Oscars back in 2019, but he was fired last minute after a stand-up bit and a series of tweets had resurfaced that painted him as anti-LGBTQ+. In 2009, Kevin sent out a series of tweets that contained jokes about his feelings about his son potentially coming out in the future, making comments that he would break a dollhouse over his head if he saw him playing with it. He said some harsher stuff that I will not repeat and no one should look up because it's a little bit rough, and I can understand why a lot of people found the comments rude and damaging, because they were. At the time, the comments didn't go unnoticed, but at the time they flew under the radar in terms of media coverage. He then repeated the jokes on stage in his Seriously Funny special. There are also a few homophobic jokes written into the script of the film Get Hard, which I have seen, and I do agree it's a little bit much. In 2015, when asked about the tweets, he told people that he would not be repeating the jokes that he made today, but that the only reason was because the times had been too sensitive. When he was announced as a host in 2018, the internet put a case together as to why he shouldn't be the host. The Oscars were forced to fire him in the role due to the alarming number of hate mail they were receiving on a daily basis. Before they actually let him go, they did give him an option to either apologize and own up or be let go. When Hart released a statement on Instagram, he decided to pass on an apology because he had apparently addressed it several times and acknowledged the rights and wrongs of the incident. The statement only led to more online outrage and sparked a debate, but the next day he released a separate statement apologizing for his actions and words, and especially to the community he insulted. Number 8. Liam Neeson. person. Liam is a prolific actor. He might be a terrible dad on screen, but he is a great actor. Unfortunately, his acting skills were nowhere to be found when he was being interviewed by The Independent. As part of the interview, the conversation veered into life versus art, and if there was anything that had happened to him in his real life that influenced his film roles. This prompted Liam to tell the person interviewing him that he once walked the streets with a stabby-jabby pen for weeks, just hoping to take his anger out after someone close to him was physically mistreated by a person of color. Liam said that he was ashamed of his actions, but his remarks sparked widespread outrage. The interview was to promote the film Cold Pursuit, which is exactly what it sounds like, and the interviewer asked many questions, including how his character turns to anger, and he replied, "Something primal kicks in." He then went on a tangent about what one goes through when a family member close to you is hurt and there is nothing that can be done. He told a story that I can't repeat because of the heavy subject matter, but it was so intense that journalists interviewing him told BBC News that anyone hearing the thoughts he was reporting here would be shocked and appalled in many ways. He himself has said that he's ashamed to think of the way that he used to say and do things, and he is of course shocked at how awful he became. He received a ton of backlash, but so far he hasn't been cancelled. Number 7. Casey Affleck. Casey has had an interesting career. Being the brother of Ben Affleck has had its advantages. However, he was able to build a career for himself away from his brother to the point where he now has an Oscar for Manchester by the Sea. 1 year after he got that Oscar, he gave his first candid interview about the allegations that he had mistreated two women on the set of his independent film I'm Still Here. Affleck directed and produced the mockumentary and admitted in an interview that the teleprompter glitched and now it is a blue screen. Affleck directed and produced the mockumentary and admitted in an interview that the set was unprofessional. He admitted that he was the main contributor to the situation and took responsibilities for his actions. He then admitted that he made major mistakes and used poor judgment. It was one of the first movies that he had ever actually directed, and he was unsure of what his role was, according to himself. Meanwhile, the actual allegations range from Casey sneaking into bed with a woman to himself and the star of the film, Joaquin Phoenix, locking themselves in a hotel room with some ladies of the night. Affleck denied the allegations for a long time, but after admitting to his misdeeds, nothing really happened. Like, he was cancelled in the eyes of the media and by his fans, but he still works, he writes, he produces films to this day. It's in smaller capacities, but still. Number 6. Tom Cruise. While Tom may be an action movie star and was once a young Hollywood heartthrob, he actually has a massive temper. According to both former assistants as well as several co-stars from his past, Cruise is a regular toddler and is known to throw tantrums, being set off by small things. His former manager, Eileen Berlin, presented him with a gift on his 19th birthday. She gave him an album of teen magazine articles that were written about him, and apparently that set him off. He told his manager that he considered himself an adult, not a teen idol, and then whipped the book in her face. Another example of Tom's aggression was on display during the filming of the sequel to Top Gun, Maverick. During this time, Tom and the rest of the film crew were tasked to film on an actual aircraft carrier that was still in use by the military. One of the crew posted on Twitter calling out the audacity of Tom's behavior. He tweeted that Tom Cruise was actually on their ship, telling people not to talk or look at him. After a few choice words, the crewmate made it very clear that Tom would never be welcome aboard the vessel again. These are just two examples though. Tom has blown up on film crews several times in the past, to the point where his Mission Impossible 2 co-stars are constantly scared of him on set and what he may freak out about next. Number 5. Taylor Swift. Unpopular opinion here. Taylor's tyranny of torment must end now. Taylor Swift has made a name for herself as a person who thrives on the ending of a relationship. Since the late 2000s, Taylor has been making millions in the music industry. Her songs like Love Story and 22 are anthems to many. The catchy tunes tend to come from a place of so-called heartache, however. Taylor has thanked her exes on several occasions for inspiring the songs that made her who she is today. People like Tom Hiddleston, Harry Styles, Jake Gyllenhaal all have had a part to play in the inception of some true bops. The argument can and should be made that Taylor just needs to chill. She has made several songs that were good without the need to berate an ex, and some of those songs are pretty revealing. Imagine if after you broke up with someone, there was a song that popped up on your phone by U2 called Why They Left You. Number 4. Ariana Grande. Now, she's got one less problem without you, and honestly, we'd probably be fine with that. Ariana rose to fame on the hit Nick series Victorious before spinning off and becoming a pop singing sensation. While she may be a good girl and good impressionist on screen, just ask Jimmy Fallon, behind the scenes she's reportedly cold, quiet, and a lot like Taylor Swift, she hates on her exes through song. When she broke up with Saturday Night Live alumni Pete Davidson, she released a song called Pete Davidson, blatantly singing and trashing about her ex-fiance. The song made her a lot of money, of which Pete received none. If you're gonna trash someone, at least give them a little piece of that cheddar. On top of this, her behavior in general has been pretty chaotic. She once left a meet and greet because she didn't like the way the photos photos were turning out. Those people paid hundreds of dollars and she was like, yeah, thank you, next. In 2015, a video surfaced of Ariana visiting a Californian donut shop. The owners were beyond excited to see her until she began licking donuts and then putting them back on the shelves. According to the shop owners, those donuts were never paid for and they had to be thrown away. They really should have preserved them and sold them online though, because some people are weird. This incident also got her nixed from performing at a White House event despite multiple public apologies. The darkest of stories comes from a Hollywood insider though and has not been confirmed to be 100% true. The man in question was working with Ariana at a signing event and apparently she was all smiles until the event was over and they got in the elevator. According to them, her first words as the doors closed were, "I hope they all frickin' perish." Only she didn't say perish. Kinda makes you realize why Nickelodeon stars aren't as popular as adults. Number 3, Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey may echo in your skull around this time of year, but according to most, you should really keep that space in your head reserved for someone else, maybe Michael Bublé. Mariah has been known to be a bit of a diva over the years, apparently making outlandish requests and taking part in some really strange moments. For instance, when giving birth to her children, Mariah had the doctors play a live version of her song Fantasy, so that her voice was the first thing that they heard in the world. Unfortunately, it was on shuffle and it played Bird as the Word. No, but that would have been fantastic and scarred them for life. She's walked out of presidential events because she wasn't the center of attention. She makes people speak to her with a whiteboard the night before performances to preserve her voice, and literally made someone roll out a red carpet for her when she walks out of vehicles. Like that lady from Guardians of the Galaxy. Just is literally someone's job to crouch down and go just all day. Needless to say, she's currently classified as a diva, but honestly we should classify her as canceled, because all I want for Christmas is a new song. Number 2, Jared Leto. Jared Leto is an interesting fellow. Hey, it rhymes. He started his own religious group, he brings a new meaning to the word method acting, and let's face it, he kinda sucks. Over the past few years, reports from Jared's fellow actors are anything but positive. When he was the Joker, he left his fellow castmates use adult devices, pig heads, and live snakes in their trailers as gifts. He was trying to stay method as the Joker, but anyone on the receiving end of those gifts just wish he would go away. On top of that, he's been known to stay in character, meaning that if he's playing someone who's angry or silent, that's how he's gonna be the entire time he's on set. This guy hasn't really been questioned for his actions at any point in recent history, only being called a weirdo, and then we just leave it at that. With his career still well on the rise, here's hoping Jared will eventually be called out for good and added to Hollywood's no-no list. Number 1, Morgan Freeman. Yes, the voice of God himself, Morgan Freeman, has been a soothing soul for many, many years. To this day, families can hear Morgan narrate the world around them in an immersive 360 IMAX screen at the Science Center in Toronto. He may be a comfort to some, but according to a few women, Morgan is actually their nightmare. Morgan has been accused of inappropriate behavior on multiple occasions between 1991 and 2015. According to one production assistant from the film Going in Style, which is a bank heist movie featuring himself, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin, Freeman subjected her to unwanted touching and comments about her figure and clothing on a near daily basis. Gentlemen, lend me your ear! This move is rarely well received, get a new move. According to her, in one instance, Freeman attempted to lift her skirt and asked to see her underclothes. She was not the only one to speak out though. A senior member of the production staff on the film, Now You See Me Too, told CNN that Freeman harassed her and her female assistant on numerous occasions, making similar comments to figures and clothing. I could go on with more and more examples, but to save some time, I will boil it down for you. Morgan Freeman is a little creepy, and I'm sorry to say it, but this dude needs to retire as soon as possible.